Joining us now, we have co-founder and CEO of All In Together, Lauren Leader, as well as special correspondent at Vanity Fair, host of the Fast Politics podcast, and now a New York Times best-selling author, Molly Jong-Fast. Congrats on that, Molly. To you in a second, but Lauren, you first. On the particulars of this bill, the Senate parliamentarian saying, hey, look, you can't do that. And we've heard some pushback from Republicans. But let's talk about the impact of this bill as it currently stands. And obviously it's going to change. They have to rewrite it. It's going to impact a lot of Americans, particularly a lot of those who have proudly voted for Donald Trump a number of times, people who live in red states, rural areas. And the polls suggest Americans just aren't sure about this. And yet, GOP leadership, full steam ahead.
First of all, props to Elizabeth McDonough, who is like literally the nerves of absolute steel in Washington. This isn't the first time she's had to go up against Republican leadership and make these rulings. She is strictly nonpartisan. She gets a lot of criticism when these things happen. People don't like what she has to say sometimes, but she is upholding the rules that the Senate themselves built and have to enforce. I mean, look, the talking points for Democrats going into 26 just write themselves with this bill. Rich people benefit, poor people lose. I mean, it's as simple as it gets. And the cuts to, I mean, the president constantly says, oh, it's not going to impact anyone's Medicaid. It's just blatantly untrue. Everyone understands that. It's why it's so difficult to pass even among Republicans. And then, you know, the problem is it's just the reason why Democrats never tried to pass giant big bills is because they wind up being gimmies to endless interests, which become incredibly unpopular with the American people. And guess what? They're like impossible to pass. So we'll see where this goes, but it's not looking good for the president on this one.
Yeah, and I think, Molly, we're going to have the White House, to that point, really turn up the pressure. Get this done. They wanted it done by a week from today, July 4th. That deadline seems difficult, to say the least. But they're certainly going to want to make this the centerpiece. They want to get this done this summer. With the White House stepping up its pressure, we know how President Trump remains so popular in the Republican base. Do we think we'll see some Republicans be willing to push back? They have a little bit around the edges. Even yesterday, Josh Hawley, the senator from Missouri, said, look, we can't fire the Senate parliamentarian, as some of his colleagues mentioned. And Senator Tillis, very honest about how this would impact those in North Carolina, his constituents. Do you think there's actually going to be a groundswell here?
Well, I mean, look, you could never lose money betting against the Republicans being courageous. That said, they certainly see that this is a rural hospital problem, right? Because these will be cuts to Medicaid and Medicare, which will close rural hospitals and nursing homes. I mean, that's sort of what's happened with the parliamentarian, is they wanted to put some money aside, and that kind of math is not going to work under reconciliation. I do want to point out the parliamentarian has also gone against Democrats when they've tried to pass things in reconciliation. So she really is a nonpartisan actor, which is not a fun place to be in this Washington. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these red state senators see, and the House, remember, everyone's up for re-election in, you know, a year and change. So I do think they're really worried about the impact that would have on their constituents and also on the party.
Yeah, and you're both exactly right in citing the important and nonpartisan work of the Senate parliamentarians.